2025 is going to come in like a bang. Why do I say this? Because we have a significant, potentially life-altering transit for some of you, and very likely collectively for all of us, with Mars retrograde opposing Pluto in Aquarius at 1 degree, the degree of brand new beginnings. And on the heels of this transit, we're going to have a beautiful rebirthing kind of moment that fuels us to reclaim our power and walk into the brand new territory of this new year with inspiration and excitement. No question, this Mars retrograde is preparing us for the huge changes of 2025 with all the outer planets changing signs. A year that, as we look back on it, will no doubt go down in history. So in this video, my friend, I want to share with you everything you need to know about the Mars retrograde in Leo. What can you expect? What themes will likely come up? My encouragement for what to do and what not to do, along with the exceptions to these astrological rules, because there are exceptions. And most importantly, how can you move through this Mars retrograde in Leo time with the most ease and grace? I will do a second video for you on the Mars retrograde in Cancer, but because there is so much important information to share with you about each of the signs and this Mars retrograde, they each deserve their own deep dive. In part 2 of this video, I will be doing, as always, readings for all 12 signs, letting you know in which house of your natal astrology chart you will be experiencing the Mars retrograde in Leo. I will also pull an oracle card for each of the 12 signs. I strongly recommend that you watch the first part of this video. It is the first half of your 12 sign readings, information I won't be repeating in the readings. And if you jump ahead to your 12 sign explanations, you will miss some of the most juicy information and guidance on how to move through what can be quite a challenging transit. So I'm excited to do a deeper dive with you on Mars retrograde in Leo. But before I do, I want to say hello and welcome. If you have just found the channel, I am so glad that you have found us. This is a like-minded community. If you want to feel empowered through Western tropical astrology, which is what I practice, and find your tribe, take a moment now to tap the subscribe button so you don't miss a video. Welcome back to those of you who've been watching my videos. Thank you so much for all the ways that you support this channel. I am forever grateful for you. I would not be here without you. And hello and happy Sunday to those of you who join us for the Sunday chat. Everyone is invited Sunday mornings, 9 a.m. Pacific time when my videos go live. So please join us. I'm Betsy. I am a psychic astrologer as well as an intuitive life coach and the author of the book, The Magic of Saying Yes, Answering Your Heart's True Calling. I do astrology consultations. Stay tuned till the end of this video where I will tell you more about my offerings. And I have a free gift for you, and I'm going to tell you about that free gift and how you can get it at the end of the video. Also, I write about the astrology every week in my weekly inspirational astrology updates. If you would like to get those direct to your inbox before they go out on social media, go to my website, subscribe for free to those updates, and you will get my free gift instant download immediately. So first of all, let me give you the dates of this Mars retrograde time. Mars went into retrograde in Leo on December 6th of 2024. Mars will station direct on February 23rd, 2025, and this includes the retrograde period in Cancer. However, there's also the pre-retrograde shadow and the post-retrograde shadow, which are quite important, meaning that whatever you experience, the story, so to speak, of the retrograde often begins during the pre-retrograde shadow and doesn't end until Mars leaves the post-retrograde time. So Mars entered its pre-retrograde shadow October 4th of 2024, and it will not finish retracing its steps over those degrees of Leo and enter new territory until May 2nd of 2025. For the purposes of what I'm going to share with you today, it's important to know that Mars retrograde in Leo specifically is from December 6th to January 6th, and then it goes back over the same degrees, 0 to 6 degrees of Leo, between April 18th and May 2nd. Mars retrogrades are not unusual. They happen every 2+ years, but when they do, we feel them. And why do we feel them? Because Mars is the planet of passion, inspiration, drive, motivation, where we want to feel successful, where we take an action and we want to see a result from it. And Mars represents the ego. We all have ego desires. And as most of us are well aware, the ego likes immediate gratification. The inner Mars within all of us wants to win. It wants to feel victorious. It wants to feel sovereign and in its power. And a healthy Mars is up for a challenge. Mars also rules our vitality, our physical health. It rules the body. The exercise we do or don't do, any pain that we experience in the physical body, as well as how we nurture our well-being on all levels. Mars also rules sexual desire and our need for adventure. Now, in the sign of fiery Leo, which is known for its courage and its confidence, as well as its pride, we all have this somewhere in our natal astrology chart, this desire to feel proud of ourselves, where we have built self-esteem based on often overcoming some sort of adversity. And because Leo rules the heart, this is a romantic sign. This is where we want to feel passion, experience generosity, that kind of head over heels feeling, even when we would give anything to a loved one or a partner, because those warm feelings of love and desire and joy are lighting the fire in our belly. This is also the sign of inner child delight, letting our inner child be our muse. Not only does Leo rule the heart, but it is ruled by the sun. And archetypally, the sun is connected to the father. So Mars in Leo can bring up issues around the father, or your relationship to your children, or your own fatherhood, or perhaps where you didn't receive what you needed from your father in the way of enthusiastic support, like, I've got your back, you can do this, I'm cheering for you, I have faith in you. This is the highest octave of Mars in Leo. Because after all, Leo energy is connected to the king of the jungle, and we all have a king or queen within us, whatever you relate to. In a nutshell, it's the part of you that feels good about yourself. It feels good about how far you've come, that you have risen to the occasion, that you have mustered the strength. Leo is the strength card in the tarot. Now, many times we associate Leo energy with a need for praise, a need for compliments, a need to be propped up and validated. And this is because many people with strong Leo energy in their charts never received that as children. They never got the feedback. They never got the mirroring. Their strengths, gifts, and talents were not reflected back to them. And so in truth, in reality, yes, receiving this validation is a way that all of us build our self-esteem. Now, during a Mars retrograde in Leo, the validation, the recognition, the accolades that maybe we've been used to receiving tend to go away, quiet down, recede into the background, which understandably can bring up feelings of self-doubt, lack of confidence. We can sometimes lose our courage and drive, especially in a society like this one, where we have been conditioned to work hard for external rewards. Of course, when our progress slows down or stops, naturally that can move us into a period of questioning. And what I want to say to you, my friend, is that this is by design. What do I mean that it's by design? Mars retrograde wants us to reconnect with our own inner drive, with our true self, with our soul's path for our expression, our creative flourishing. Mars retrograde wants us to check in with our goals and ask ourselves, do I still love this? Do I still really want this? When Mars is direct, we often won't ask those questions because everything is humming along just fine. But when we experience a change in our motivation or drive, or in the praise or feedback that we're getting from others, that naturally can cause us to pause and say, why am I still doing this? Do I still want to be doing this? Do I need to change a strategy? What needs to shift here? Mars retrograde brings you back to your purpose. It brings you back to your why. And when we get to the 12 sign readings, I'm going to share with you the area of your life in which you might be doing this questioning, this reflection, this introspection the most. Keep in mind that Leo energy being associated with the 5th house of the zodiac, how much fun you've been having, your creative passions, your relationships with your kids, your relationship to your own inner child. the adventures you've been having or not having, how much you've been attuned to your physical body and the sensual pleasures of life, the importance of these, and whether you've had balance between these delicious areas of life and the rest of your life. Mars retrograde in Leo is asking us, are we getting enough of this joy, playfulness, spontaneity? Big picture, are you feeling passionate and inspired? And if you're not, how can we reignite this joy and passion and deliciousness of life for you? So who will most feel this transit of Mars retrograding in the sign of Leo? Mars began at 6 degrees. It's going to travel back to 0 degrees. So those of you with planets or points between 0 and I'm going to say 8 or 9 degrees of Leo or the other fixed signs of Aquarius, Scorpio, or Taurus, you're going to feel this transit most intensely, most personally. Also, if you are a Mars-ruled sign, if you have an Aries ascendant, Sun, Moon, or Mars, you will also likely feel this transit very palpably. And then Scorpio, if you have any of those placements in Scorpio, you are co-ruled by Mars and Pluto. You may also feel this transit quite deeply. All of us, though, have Leo energy somewhere in our natal astrology chart, whether you have planets or points there or not. So you will feel this in that area of your life, and we will all be feeling it collectively, especially because of the transits, which I'm going to share with you in a moment. Now, typical symptoms that you may feel during a Mars retrograde: progress slows or stops. You feel frustrated. You notice that repressed anger is coming to the surface. You may be more easily irritated or notice that others are more easily irritated with you. You may get more criticism than you normally get from others, or you may criticize others more readily. And we could all see more conflict going on in the world, especially during the last few days of December and the first week of January, when Mars opposes Pluto exactly. How can we move through this transit with the most ease and grace? Number one, we can give ourselves permission to slow down. So challenging for most of us in this culture. We are not machines. We are not meant to push, push, push day in and day out without a break. So this is a good time to take a vacation or a rest. And just being more cognizant when we are interacting with one another that Mars is retrograde, and giving each other more grace. Playing with children, doing things that you used to love when you were a kid, getting back into arts and crafts if you love to do that and you haven't done it in a while, or just bringing out some crayons or pastels and doodling. Activating the romance in your life if you haven't done that in a while with a current partner, or even romancing yourself, filling your home with flowers and candles and beautiful things that put you in a state of inner romance. This is not a time to push or force anything. It is not a time to start a lawsuit. Usually when a lawsuit is begun during a Mars retrograde, and that includes the pre-shadow and the post-shadow periods, you often don't get the result that you want. Also not a good time for an elective surgery. I put the emphasis on elective because, of course, if you need the surgery, you never want to use astrology as a reason to ignore your health or to put off what you need. But elective surgeries, I would put those off until after Mars has cleared the shadow period if you're able to. If you have moments of feeling unseen, unloved, this is the time to pull your energy in, to ask for the unconditional love of the divine to stream down on you through your crown. This is the time to receive the love that maybe you didn't receive when you were a child. Receive it from your own soul, from your angels, from your guides. This is one reason that this is going to be, for many of us, quite transformational. This is a time to fill up our own cup with the deep reservoir of unconditional divine love. And some of us are going to do some reprioritizing. We are going to change the way we operate. We are going to change where we've been giving too much or not receiving enough back for what we are putting out in the world, so to speak. Mars retrograde is a great time to go back to something that you miss, or to say yes to something that you put on the back burner. Great time to pick up an exercise program. If you love yoga, but you haven't been doing yoga, I'm raising my hand to that. During a Mars retrograde, you can be drawn to something in your past or something that you've always wanted to do that you've never done. It's not the best time to make a major life decision until the post-retrograde shadow period is over, especially something that you want to be long-term in your life. Whatever choices you make and actions that you decide to take during a Mars retrograde, think of them as experiments, as explorations, as adventures, because you don't know where they're going to head. And oftentimes there are challenges, there are obstacles, there are things we have to work through. And I say this because what many people are not aware of is that Mars retrograde is often connected to karmic soul contracts. Mars retrograde will often bring up a karmic soul contract or obligation that you have that is somehow fated, that you feel compelled to follow, that will make no sense to your logical mind. And I'll give you a quick example of this. Many of you know that I lived in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, and I made the decision to move there, which was a huge decision for me. It did change my life in so many ways, but I made that decision to move there during the Mars retrograde pre-shadow period, Mars retrograde in Gemini. Mars was retrograding in my 12th house of foreign lands, and I have a stellium of planets in Gemini in my 12th house. And I felt a compelling desire to go back to Puerto Vallarta, where I had been before, where I had relationships with people, where I had an offer to rent an apartment from my dad's former best friend, before my dad passed away. And many people in my life were very supportive of that move, but at the same time, I'm sure there were people who thought, what is she doing? Because I gave up my lovely apartment in Laguna Beach, California. I sold most of my belongings, hoping that this would be a long-term life change that would make me very fulfilled on a soul level. And there was a lot about living in Mexico that was incredibly growthful for me, incredibly stimulating and exciting. But I also awakened to the fact while living there for 18 months that it wasn't my home. It wasn't where I wanted to live full time. And I also became aware of the truth that it was a journey that my soul needed to take because of my past life connections to Puerto Vallarta and the people that I met, karmic soul contracts that I was meant to complete. And I had many moments while I was there of that soul recognition of, yes, this is a past life connection. Yes, I was meant to be here for this reason. So I share this with you, my friend, because some of you will feel like you need to make some sort of change. Some of you may want to move. Some of you may feel a very strong, compelling desire to take some sort of action. Just know that it may end up being temporary. See it as an adventure. See it as an experiment. And any moves that feel too risky for you, honor that. Take your time. You should have much more clarity by May 2nd when this Mars retrograde is complete. Now, big picture, how is this Mars retrograde in Leo helping us to grow on a soul level? Leo is connected with the solar plexus, our seat of power, where we feel like we have everything that we need to accomplish what is calling to us in life, or where we don't, where we might feel on a subconscious, if not conscious level, that we are not enough, maybe where we have deep fears of rejection or of being unlovable. This is what this transit is helping us to evolve through and out of, to raise the vibration of our solar plexus. And the last few days of December and the first several days of January are going to help us with this. Why do I say this? Because this is when we're going to have the transit of Mars retrograde in Leo opposing Pluto in Aquarius at 1 degree. This transit will be exact on January 3rd, but for about 5 to 7 days, Mars and Pluto are going to be within 1 degree of one another. So I think we're going to feel this transit for this full period of time. And this is a transformational skin shedding transit. An opposition between Pluto and Mars can bring shocks, power struggles. Very strong ego drives its connection to conflict and sometimes violence, obsession. Big picture, it's about power and control, where we have to accept the things that we can't change, muster the courage to change the things that we can, the serenity prayer. Go back for a moment to the first few days of November. This was just before the US election, and we had a transit of Mars at 29 degrees of Cancer opposing Pluto in Capricorn at 29 degrees. Right around that election time, and we all experienced the uncertainty, the volatility, the division among the people. This time the opposition is in Leo and Aquarius at 0 and 1 degrees. So you may feel this as an inner death. You may feel this as an ego self dying, but just after this happens, we're going to have a transit that is quite uplifting, that could feel like a rebirth. And this is when Mars in Leo at 0 degrees makes a beautiful trine. Trine's the most harmonious aspect that we can have. Mars at 0 degrees is going to make a trine to the North Node of Destiny in Aries. This 0 point of Aries is a very important point in astrology. It is the very beginning of the astrological wheel. It represents spring and rebirth and coming alive. And with the North Node in Aries at this degree, this is what is calling to you now. This is the Fool in the Tarot. This is your soul, your spirit rising up, rising to the occasion of a brand new beginning that is inspiring you to say yes to what your heart truly wants, my friend. And at this 0 degree point, I think this is going to feel like a portal. I think this is going to be a feeling of now I am moving into the new paradigm, the new vibration, the new energy of what my soul came here to do. So let's do the 12 sign readings now. Listen to your rising sign. This is the area of life in which the Mars retrograde in Leo is happening for you. Mars will retrograde in Cancer as well, and I will do a separate video for you on that retrograde as well. Also listen to your moon and your sun signs for further themes and intuitive messages. So we're going to start with Leo because beautiful Leo, this is your Mars retrograde. It's happening in your sign, and this is a really big deal. It's a big deal when we have a retrograde in our own sign. It takes us into an introspective place often, and for you to reassess your goals, to reassess your energy levels, your vitality, what is most important to you now, what's working for you, what isn't working for you, and any changes that you want to make in your roles, your identity. This is the house of your identity. So it's the physical body, it's your health, it's how you are feeling. It's like, do you have the energy for the things that matter most to you right now? Some of you are really going to feel this in your job, in your career. You're going to feel like perhaps that something needs to give or change within your job or career. You could feel it within your home. You could feel it within your partnership as well. When we have a transit to our first house, it can affect our career, it can affect our home, it can affect our physical health, it can affect our most important relationships. One of the things to be reflecting on during this transit, Leo, is have you been depending too much on the validation of others? If you feel like you're not getting the love, the appreciation, the positive feedback, the praise, just the feel-good feelings that, let's face it, as human beings, we all enjoy feeling. If you feel like you're not getting enough of that, it is a sign to return to your inner child, your inner muse, to give yourself the love and affection. As Buddha said, you yourself deserve just as much as anyone else your own love and affection. So you may notice during this retrograde that you decide to redirect your energy in some way, that you decide to change a role, whether it is personal or professional. You could also be completing a karmic soul contract around this time as well. If you haven't watched the first part of this video, go back and watch that because I do a much deeper dive into all the kinds of things you might experience during a Mars retrograde, so I'm not going to repeat that here. But Leo, this is a time to really, really tune into your why, your passion, your inspiration. What is missing? If anything is missing in your life, this is the time to really be fiercely honest with yourself and to begin to look at how can you get that back in your life. A great time to do anything that you loved to do as a child that you haven't done for a while, or anything that lights you up, anything that makes you happy. And as you do that redirecting of your energy, as you shine your own light back on you, you're going to notice that once we get past this Mars retrograde, you're going to have a stronger sense of who you are, but also the recognition, the accolades, the just the basic praise and positive feedback, you should feel that coming back in again if right now or during this retrograde you feel that waning or shifting or leaving. So Leo, let me shuffle for you now and then I will pull a card for you. Beautiful Leo. Let's see what the cards have to say for Leos. Your card is The Fool's Embrace Transmuting Pain. Check out this card. So at the end of part one, I talked about the transit that we're going to have with the North Node in Aries making a trine to Mars retrograde. That's going to be a really beautiful transit. And I made the reference to the Fool in the tarot deck, which is new beginnings. The Fool is filled with inspiration. The Fool feels called to a new adventure. And Leo, this card, look at this solar eclipse. You may want to pay particular attention to the solar eclipse that we're going to have in Aries in March. And of course, I will do a separate video for you on that. But notice how this Fool is ready to go. And it even looks like he's wearing or she is wearing a crown. There's a cape. They are ready to take off. But before they take off, they are in this pose of reflection. They are in repose. And this is what a Mars retrograde is about. Contemplation, reflection. And this card, of course, says transmuting pain. So any fears that you have, any pain that could be connected to parental figures or authority figures in your life, past or present, including past lives, this is the time to do that inner shadow work on that pain so that you can say yes to what is really gorgeously calling you forward. Beautiful Leo, if this card resonates for you, let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear. Cancer, hello, beautiful Cancer. Cancer, I have my moon and rising in Cancer. And those of you who are Cancer risings will experience this Mars retrograde as a transformational journey in your second house of earned income, your values, and your material security overall. This is the house of your possessions, the things that make you feel happy to have around, your physical things, your physical life. Self-reliance, your ability to support yourself. This is the financial house. It includes your assets as well. So Cancer, you may have, before Mars went retrograde in Leo on December 6th, you may have been very, very focused and still focused here, by the way. You could still be focusing here, but you could have felt like you were having a lot of progress in these areas of material security. Once Mars shifted to retrograde, you could have felt like, wait, something doesn't feel like it's humming along like it was before. This is very natural for a Mars retrograde, as I speak about at length in the first part of this video. So you could decide to redo something that isn't working for you in this area of your finances, your possessions, your material security, and this could include your job because it's the money that you earn. It could include a job where you're earning money now. You could be really reflecting on, do I want to stay in this job? Do I want to get a new job? Do I want to start a side gig? Something to do with your investments or assets you could be thinking about as well. This is also the house of self-worth and deserving, self-esteem, which is very much tied to Leo energy, the inner child. And so Cancer, you may really find, let's say this, if you notice at all that you're not receiving back from others what you normally receive that helps you to feel good about yourself, there's no shame there. That's the human experience. We all say, don't depend on validation from others. If you fully loved yourself, you wouldn't need anyone to compliment or praise you. Maybe that's an ideal, but most of us still very much enjoy and appreciate compliments, right? Cancer, leave me a comment. Let me know if that's true for you. Yes, ideally, we source our self-esteem and self-worth solely from within, solely from the divine. That's the ideal. But this transit, I think, for a lot of Cancers is going to bring you inward to fill up your cup of self-love from your divine source. And when Mars turns retrograde in your sign, Cancer, you will likely feel this even more. And I'm going to do a separate video for you on that transit because that deserves its own video. And until then, Cancer, I do want to say that I did a whole video on Mars in Cancer that I will link to in the description box below. So beautiful Cancer, let me pull a card for you and see what the cards have to say. And I think a lot of you may be reflecting on right now, because values fall in this house, you may be reflecting on what is most important to you now. What are your priorities, and is your life aligned with those priorities and values? And if not, how can you shift that? Okay, so Cancer, let me pull a card for you and we'll see what the cards have to say. Cancer, your card is the farther gate, bold step forward. I love this card. It's a portal card. There is bright white light. Are you thinking of taking a bold step? Now, Cancer, if you are, I really want to encourage you to watch the first part of the video where I talk about the bold step that I took and how I did that during a Mars retrograde period, because a lot of people wonder, does it make sense? Should I be taking a bold step? And overall, the guidance is wait until after Mars retrograde is over to take any big action. It's usually not the time to take a big action, but there are exceptions to that, which I go into in part 1 of this video. This card could pertain to a karmic pull that you have, a sense of, I need to go do this. Maybe it's not the right thing, but I feel compelled. When you feel that sense of, I feel compelled to do this, often it is connected to some sort of karmic connection you have with someone, or that it's part of your path. It's part of your path to have the experience. Whether this card is connected to that for you, a bold move during the retrograde or after the retrograde, this is saying that you are being pulled into a brand new experience that's going to raise your vibration, Cancer. It's going to raise your vibration. It's going to awaken you. It's going to bring more fulfillment to your life, whether temporary or permanent, we don't know, right? But even if you do something that is an adventure or an experiment that doesn't turn out to be a long-term lasting thing, it is still going to evolve you at the soul level. So beautiful Cancer, if you resonate with this card, I really love this card. Let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear. Gemini, hello, beautiful Gemini. Gemini, I have my natal sun in Gemini. And those of you who are Gemini risings are going to experience the Mars retrograde in Leo in your 3rd house. Your 3rd house is the house of your immediate surroundings. It is the neighborhood in which you live. It is all of the comings and goings and errands and doings and conversations and networking and so on, meetups that you do, coffee dates that you do in your immediate environment. It is also your communication. It is your devices, your vehicles, short trips, and the message that you put out into the world if you do, or just what is most important to you in terms of your own philosophy and how you communicate that, because it is the house of communication, our emails. And if you teach, or if you present, or if you do any sort of sharing on whatever level of what you think, because this is the house of ideas and thinking, and it is your house, Gemini, it's the mercurial house. Also the house where we sign leases, so it includes neighbors and landlords and tenants and mortgages and all of that, and our everyday transactions. So what does this mean for you? Gemini, you're getting a sextile from this energy, which is quite lovely. Your Leo energy and your Gemini energy, they vibe really nicely together. Leo's fire and your air really can create beautiful magic. So this is quite lovely. You may experience here a romance, very possible that you experience a romance. Romances that are begun during a Mars retrograde, I have to say, they often don't last. They are often karmic. They are often meant to happen for a reason or a season rather than a lifelong thing, but not necessarily. And you can meet wonderful people. I had a Mars retrograde romance the last time that Mars was retrograde in Leo. I did have a romance with someone who was a Leo, not surprisingly. And it was quite lovely. It was quite lovely. And he even came back to me years later, I mean, over a decade later, and thanked me for the time that we had together and how important that was for him at the time. And I received a lot from that relationship as well. So you know what's important to you, Gemini. Not everybody is up for that. If you're already in a partnership, you may find yourself deepening your relationship with that partner, or deepening your relationship with people in your local environment, making new friends, some of whom may be in your life long term and some of whom may not. But if not, you will likely receive a lot from those relationships at any rate. You could also have a healing with a sibling or something come up with a sibling or an aunt, uncle, or cousin or someone in your extended family during this time as well. So beautiful gems. Let me shuffle for you and let us see what the cards have to say for Gemini. Gemini. Gemini, your card is the Woodwives. You know what I love about this card? First of all, this is a card about nature. This is a card about the elementals. If you relate to the elementals, Gemini energy is very elemental in my feeling sense. The fairies, the nymphs, the dragonflies, the gnomes, and so on. We could name more, right, Gems? You are adaptable. The message of this card is adaptability, to be adaptable. Gemini, that is one of your strengths. The Woodwives are muses. They want to inspire you. They want to show you the truth of who you are on a deeper level. They want to bring you back into the magic and the synchronicity of life, beautiful Gemini. They want to awaken your gorgeous spirit. They want to awaken the magic of who you are and have you become very aware of it, the ability to co-create your life as you want it, even with the human limitations that we live with. So beautiful Gemini. See all the light in this card? See the red of the fire? That's the Leo fire. I get the sense that if you go out in nature, I know weather permitting, all of that, but if you go out in nature, maybe it's sunrise, maybe it's sunset, maybe you're looking up at the stars, but if you do your dance, I know most Geminis, as I said, I'm a Gemini, I love to dance. Most Geminis love to dance. If you can reconnect in a very deep, mystical way with something in nature, whether it's a tree, whether it's the air, whether it's a campfire, deeply connect with it. I think there's going to be a treasure for you there. I think there's going to be a message or an idea or just a returning you to your spirit that is exactly what you need as you move into 2025. So beautiful Gemini, if you resonate with this, let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear. Taurus. Hello, beautiful Taurus. Taurus, the Mars retrograde in Leo is happening in your 4th house of home, family, childhood conditioning, the house of your roots, the house of your ancestors, the house of your instinctual survival needs, belonging, to have a home that feels like a sanctuary, to feel at home within your own skin. This is the 4th house. And this is going to be a transformational journey for you. It is going to be for all of us, but especially if you have planets or points in the very early degrees of your sign, Taurus, or any of the other fixed signs, you will likely feel a need to return to a truth about your home, family, or childhood. This could also bring you back into memories that came from past lifetimes. This is a beautiful transit for doing any kind of inner child healing work. I do have a separate video for everyone on my inner child healing called Reparenting Yourself, and I will link to that in the description box below. This is a really nice transit for any kind of shadow work, for forgiving your parents if you haven't done that on a deeper level, not just I forgive you, goodbye, but a deeper level of forgiveness and awareness and maybe epiphanies coming to you around your relationships with your parents or with anyone that was an authority figure in your life, beautiful Taurus. Be aware of your desire, your motivation, your mojo, especially as it relates to this 4th house. Of course, it could relate to career as well because you do have Pluto transiting your 10th house of career, and this transit of Mars retrograde is going to make an opposition to that Pluto. So if you have planets or points in the very early degrees, like 0 to 2, or at the most 3 degrees, you will feel that transit most likely quite intensely. If so, it will be a shedding of a skin and a chance for you to accept what you can't change, to reclaim your power, maybe a deep healing with a family member, or maybe a deep healing within yourself having to do with a relationship with a family member or a parent, or could even be a teacher. But that is going to open you up to your own integrity, coming back into your integrity, coming back into just a closer relationship with your own self, your core self, and feeling more at home in your own skin than you have ever felt before, beautiful Taurus. That is the beauty of a transit like this. Some of you may want to move around this time. I talk about my story of moving to Mexico and how that was related because I did that during a Mars retrograde. Generally, I would not encourage any major changes, but Mars retrogrades often do call us into the past in some way. And that could be moving back to your hometown. That could be moving back to a place that you've always wanted to move, as long as you see it as an adventure, as an exploration, as an experiment, rather than something that you feel very strongly needs to sort of play out for you long term. As long as you can see it as temporary, it could end up being permanent, but any move that you want to, that you have an attachment to being long term, I would wait until after the post-retrograde shadow period. Beautiful Taurus, let me shuffle and pull a card for you now. And of course, I can do a reading for you on this because these kinds of questions, when you're contemplating something very important in your life, we have to look at your whole chart. I have to look at how this retrograde and the planets that you have are being activated in your natal chart. We have to look at the whole picture to make any sort of true assessment for you, beautiful Taurus. So let me pull a card for you now. Taurus, your card is, I love this card, Taurus. In the hand, the universe is your partner. This is a clear call to open up to your power, to open up to the fact that the universe is supporting you, that you are co-creating your life, that what you truly desire, you can literally, metaphorically in your heart see as in your hand. Decide now that whatever you most want is already in your hand. Do you see the gold here? This feels, to me, this is like a crystal, but it could also be a heart. It is filled with light. It is abundant, and all of the fiery energy down here of the Leo energy. What you want is already in your hand. It's already in your hand. Just know that it is. Believe that it is. Ask the universe to meet you halfway. When you take a step in the direction of what you want, and I'm not saying take any big, bold actions during this Mars retrograde time. I talk about this part in part 1. I encourage everyone to watch that. But I am saying, get clear during this retrograde on what is your heart's desire and partner with the universe on it, beautiful Taurus, and you shall see the beautiful bounty and results of your efforts. If this card resonates, if you want to claim that it's in your hand, whatever your heart most desires, let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear. Aries, hello, beautiful Aries. Aries, you are going to feel this Mars retrograde. Why do I say this? Because your ruler is Mars. Your ruler is Mars. So when Mars goes retrograde, you are going to feel it. Beautiful Aries, I have only one planet in Aries, and that is my natal Mars is in Aries, and I feel it, and it's just my Mars. So there you go. I would be very surprised if you have Aries rising or Aries sun and you don't feel this Mars retrograde. Now, the beauty of this Mars retrograde for you is that it is going to make a trine to your energy, and trines are flow and ease the wind at your back. However, the frustration could still be there. Why? Because Aries, when you get an idea, you go for it. You want it. You want progress. You want forward momentum and movement. And when you feel like the movement isn't happening, it's very challenging for you. So here's the thing, physical movement. You all already know this well, I know. But anything you can do to strengthen your body, to get your energy moving, to breathe, meditate, do yoga, physical exercise, whatever it is that brings you back into a place of peace and calm and ease. I needed that breath. Anything that you can do that is going to light up your inner child, Aries. I'm getting a strong vibe for you, and now I can see why. This is happening in your 5th house. It's happening in your 5th house of fun, pleasure, romance, joy, creative expression, unbridled freedom to express in the way that you choose to. It's the house of inner child delight. You need to feel inspired, Aries. You need to feel passionate. You're not going to take steps on something unless it feels like an absolute yes to you. So just know that if you feel more irritable, more frustrated, if you feel like things aren't moving quickly enough for you, maybe this is a call for you to do something that is just for fun for you, Aries. You are an ambitious sign. It's very difficult for you, I think, to not feel like you are pushing something forward, but this is a big permission slip for you, this transit, to relax, let go, take a time out, and enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride, beautiful Aries. Enjoy doing things that you wouldn't normally do, that you haven't done in a while. Taking a load off and just having pure fun, pure delight, taking care of your inner child. So Aries, let me now shuffle for you. Anything to do with children as well. Anything that makes you feel free. Really good for you during this Mars retrograde. Beautiful Aries. Okay. Let's see what the cards have to say for you, Aries. Aries, your card is... Ooh, Aries, you're gonna love it. This is one of my favorite cards, and you're gonna see why. It's the Benefactor, grace and generosity. You know what I love about this card? First of all, grace and generosity are Leo traits. Second of all, if you look closely at this card, there are two lovers, and one of them has the Leo crown on. How cool is this? For some of you, this could be a sign about romance, whether it's romance in a current partnership or fun dating relationship, or that's coming in for you perhaps. For others of you, somebody wants to be your benefactor. This could be a friend. This could be somebody with financial resources. This could be somebody with some sort of opportunity. Whether this happens during the retrograde or after the retrograde, we don't know for sure. But what I would say is that believe in yourself. This is the number 3 of this card. Believe in yourself. Believe that you can have what you need. Believe that there are people who want to support you. Have fun. Do you see how this cute little rodent couple? Are they hamsters? You know. But anyway, do you see how they're like sitting in this mushroom? There is so much sort of fantasy and playfulness and joy and spontaneity to this card, and light and gold and abundance. So beautiful. Aries, if you want to claim your abundance, your benefactor, that you are going to have a benefactor coming your way, or maybe you already do, let us know in the comments below. I would love to hear. Pisces, hello, beautiful Pisces. Pisces, the Mars retrograde in Leo is happening for you in your 6th house of your daily habits and life. This is the house of wellness on all levels, your spiritual health, mental, physical, and emotional, your schedules, your routines. Are they working for you? Your daily work, your work environment. This is a question of your goals having to do with your work and your lifestyle. It really is the house of lifestyle. Is your lifestyle working for you, Pisces? You could be questioning everything right now. You could be questioning your physical health. You could be getting back into an exercise routine that you did before, that you loved, that you let slide. You could be changing a habit. You could be looking at your current work environment. Some of you will probably say, this is toxic on some level for me and I'm leaving it. Others of you could be feeling some sort of tug of war right now between the part of you that wants to leave an environment. Maybe you want to have more freedom. Maybe you want to work at home and you can't work at home. Maybe you want to start your own business. It could be a lot of different things, but some of you could be feeling like, oh, but I love the benefits of this, or I need the money, I need the steady paycheck and so forth. And you could be really figuring out what your options are right now. And that is the whole point of a Mars retrograde, is to get us to do that deep dive, that rethinking of, do I want to stay where I am? Do I want to keep doing things the way I've been doing them? You could change strategies for how to do your life. You could figure out new ways to be more healthy in your daily life, for example, whatever that is for you on any level of health. The big question is, what's working in your life? What isn't? Okay, more than one question. And how can I stay true to myself? What is non-negotiable for me? What will I no longer settle for? What is working? What do I want more of? You get the idea. Okay, so beautiful Pisces, let me now shuffle for you and let us see what the cards have to say for you. Ah, Pisces, your card is, ooh, Watchers, the Transpersonal. Wow, wow, wow. Check it out, Pisces. There is so much life force in this card. This card is very, very spiritual. Do you see this bubble of light up here? And this is, well, first of all, this reminds me of grounding energy. It reminds me of going to, it feels so big to me. It feels like, yes, it could be a spiritual guide. Yes, it could be, a totem animal. It could be a wonder of life like Arches National Park in the US, or, some place that you go that really connects you to your, just to feeling in awe. There's a sense of awe to me in this card, but there's also the call to observe your life and the things that are not working for you, the things that are causing you to feel emotionally triggered, to observe this from the place of spirit, to fly over your life, to see your life from a new perspective, to see those emotional things that we get caught in, where you could feel entangled with another person, with a job, with a situation. Pisces, to see that from a whole new level, to be the watcher of your life instead, because as you do, there's an enlightenment, an awakening, a new perspective that is going to feel tremendously freeing. If you are ready to claim your emotional freedom, if you are ready to claim your freedom of choice, if you are ready to say yes to a new adventure, perhaps, beautiful Pisces, let us know in the comments below. You will inspire all of us. Aquarius, beautiful Aquarius. Aquarius, you are experiencing the Mars retrograde in Leo in your 7th house of partnerships. So beautiful Aquarius, this is an opposition. And if you have planets or points between 0 and 8 or 9 degrees of your sign, you will feel this most intensely, but especially if you have planets or points between 0 and 2 degrees, maybe 3 degrees, you will feel the Mars opposition Pluto that I spoke about in the first half of this video. So please go back and watch that if you haven't already, because it's going to be quite transformational for you and for the collective, for many of us. It is resetting you. It is putting you on a new path, some of you, in relationship especially, and the relationship with yourself, with your own soul. The 7th house is all kinds of partnerships. Often we think of this as marriage, and it is marriage, but it is also significant others. It is also best friends. It can be business partners. It can be supervisors. It can be anyone that is taking up space, and I don't mean that in a negative way, that is, occupying space in your life right now. I have to be honest, Aquarius, you could experience power struggles. You could experience a sense of powerlessness. This is a really important time to set boundaries, because Mars does in its lower octave rule conflict, and in a retrograde, big picture, you could feel more irritated with other people. You could feel more like you're having conflicts with one or more people in your life. However, the highest octave of this is you getting clear with yourself in an introspective, reflective way. You getting very clear with what's important to you, your values, your priorities, and then taking action as the time feels right for you on honoring your own soul's integrity, those boundaries, those priorities, those values. Not the best time to take major actions, such as ending a relationship, unless you feel could be a long time coming for some of you. And this will, for a lot of people, truth be told, there will be a shift of relationship, especially again, if you have planets or points in those very early degrees of the fixed signs, including your sign in Leo and so forth. This is a time to be mindful of expressing your frustration or anger in healthy ways, taking space when you need it, timeouts, breathing, meditation, all of those things could be quite helpful for you around this time, beautiful Aquarius. Some of you will be using this energy to envision your ideal partnership. A karmic partner could come into your life. This is very common for retrograde periods with Mars, and it could be quite lovely for you. This happened for me during the last Mars retrograde in Leo. And I still look back on that relationship with joy. It wasn't meant to be a long-term partnership, but it doesn't have to be. I bring it up because it doesn't have to be a negative thing. Falling in love during this time can be really amazing and really growthful for your life in terms of your long-term soul evolution, beautiful Aquarius. It could be end up being a relationship for a season or a reason rather than a lifetime. So beautiful Aquarius. Also what's coming in right now is you could have a shift in business relationships, partnerships, and so forth. If there's anything toxic in your life in terms of relationship, whether it's business or professional, you will most likely awaken to that if you haven't already in the last few days of December or the first week of January. Aquarius, let's pull a card for you now and see what the cards have to say for you. Aquarius, your card is, ooh, skywriting the fates. The fates are involved in this Mars retrograde for you, and I am not surprised given that this is an opposition. We tend to feel oppositions quite intensely. It could be a passionate romance. It could be a passionate meeting of somebody, whether it's platonic or not. It could really light up your heart. Something fateful is likely to happen for you during this transit, beautiful Aquarius. If you have not yet scripted what you would like to experience for, let's say, the first few months of 2025 or the year of 2025, this is a beautiful time to do some sort of skywriting scripting for what you most want to experience so that you can be the co-creator of whatever happens in your life and not feel like you're being pulled by fate, but instead being pulled by a vision. Beautiful Aquarius, if this resonates, let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear. Capricorn. Hello, beautiful Capricorn. Capricorn, the Mars retrograde in Leo is happening for you in your 8th house of power and control. This is the house of shared resources. This is the house of emotional and physical intimacy, sexuality. It is our money, our assets, especially in our investments, our loans, and our taxes. So Capricorn, you are likely very focused right now on your finances and or a relationship and how you share resources, time, money, or energy with another person. And this could be a person in your business life. It could be a person in your personal relationship life. Often somebody that we live with, often a marriage partner, or what we would call a significant other. You are being given a permission slip, beautiful Capricorn, to slow down in these areas. If you are frustrated, if you feel like things aren't happening, if you've been working on building your nest egg, for example, or working on investments and so forth, and things aren't going the way that you wanted them to, many of you may be very happy with them. I mean, the stock market is doing fabulously well, but you could be really deliberating right now, really thinking long-term for yourself and deliberating. And the thing about that is it can be frustrating because Mars retrograde can it can flow us through a loop. It can throw us for a loop in terms of, it can feel like a reversal. Something could change, some new sort of new information can come in. There could be a kink thrown in. There could be an obstacle that you face during this time. And that can make you feel like you don't have the power that you want. With Mars, we want to feel in control. We want to feel like we've got the power. And you may have to accept where you don't have power or control during this transit. Or you may be really reflecting, simply reflecting on how you want to use your energy in partnership as it has to do with your money, as it has to do with your resources. Some of you could be reflecting on buying a house. I would not recommend buying a home during a Mars retrograde. Why? Because we often see things after the time that we didn't see before, and obstacle, any big action that we take that's going to be life-changing for us, there are often obstacles that show up. Doesn't mean that it can't be successful. It just means that it's going to be harder, more challenging than it would be if you didn't do it during this time. If you're already in the works of something, you could find that you have buyer's remorse. That can happen too. Things that we commit to during a shadow period, sometimes once we get in it, during the actual retrograde, we can be like, oh, why did I do that? Why did I say yes to that? So those are some of the things that are related to those big decisions and why we say better to wait if you can. So Capricorn, let me now pull a card for you and see what the cards have to say. I need to infuse a little bit of humor and lightness into this because I don't know how you're feeling the energies, Capricorn, but I've definitely been feeling some heaviness. So anyway, let's see what the cards have to say for you. Beautiful Capricorn. Your card is, ooh, the Netcaster. You know, this is also a really nice card. This is preparations coming to fruition. So a couple of things I see in this card. Number one, it is very ethereal. It really reminds me of the ethereal realms. This woman is dressed in a different era, right? A different era. You could feel nostalgic around this time. You could be looking back on partnerships or relationships that were important to you that are no longer in your life. You could be doing some emotional clearing. You could be reflecting back on a time when you felt like you had more abundance. You could be doing, again, some clearing of the past. However, the Netcaster is saying, cast your net. You have the power. Cast your net of abundance. You could do this in a visualization. You can imagine yourself casting a net and pulling up from the ocean the things that you want to experience. That's a powerful visualization. This card is also saying that preparations that you're making now or have already made are going to come to fruition for you, beautiful Capricorn. You're going to receive what it is that you want. Put some time into visualizing if that would make you feel more like you are making those preparations. Reflection, visualizing, sensing, feeling. The feelings of what it feels like to have, to experience, to be or do what you want to do. These will all be beautiful ways to prepare for what is coming to fruition for you, beautiful Capricorn. If you want to claim this gorgeous abundance, let us know in the comments below. I would love to hear. Sagittarius, Sagittarius, beautiful Sagittarius. Sag, beautiful Sag, you are experiencing, as of December 6th, experiencing the Mars retrograde in Leo, which is making a gorgeous trine to your energy. Trines are the most easeful, graceful transits, often things falling into our lap. You are experiencing this already in your house of expansion, the house of higher learning. This is long distance travel. This is new scenery, new horizons, the things that we do that elevate us, the house of upliftment. Sag, this is your house, the 9th house. With a Mars retrograde here, you could be returning either physically or in your own heart and mind to past belief systems, to past philosophies, to past educational programs, or you could be questioning or wondering or deciding on a current path that you're on. Is this still right for me? A spiritual path, a learning path. If you're in school, if you've been struggling in school, for example, getting your PhD or doing some sort of maybe website building, maybe publishing something, maybe you're writing a book, maybe you're doing something that you want to publish. Mars retrograde is often when we feel at a standstill, we feel things slowing down, we feel our energy and our dedication and our commitment, often it starts to wane. But that only happens if there's something that we need to revisit, our why, as we call it, our reason for doing it. And you might need to revisit that. Or maybe you need a rest. Maybe you need a break. Maybe there's a reason that something is slowing down for you. Maybe it's time for you to go inward and give yourself, fill up your cup, give yourself the the validation, the praise, the accolades, the just kind of that idea of when we fly above our life and we look at what have we accomplished and we realize we've accomplished a lot, but maybe we haven't given ourselves enough credit for doing that, Sag. That could be part of your experience of this Mars retrograde as well. The trine is so lovely. You don't be surprised if you get an invitation or an opportunity to travel. Don't be surprised if something new comes into your life that is quite elevating. If you feel compelled to do something, to take an action during this time that will really light you up, I'm not going to say don't do it. As I said in the first part of this video, I moved to Mexico during a Mars retrograde. So it was transiting my stellium in Gemini. So it was very, very strong and intense for me. And it did bring in a lot of past life stuff that I needed to experience, but a lot of it was really beautiful. The past life, you know, those karmic contracts are not necessarily hard. Like they don't often last, and there's usually a reason that they don't last, but they can be quite fulfilling when they're happening. So a reassessment of your motivation, your drive, and your goals in this house of expansion, philosophy, spirituality, and higher learning, beautiful Sag. Let us see what the cards have to say for you. The word spontaneous keeps coming to me as I'm thinking about your energy and your energy. So let yourself be spontaneous. Let yourself feel expanded. Let yourself do whatever it is that's going to make you feel expanded. Just don't attach to it being a long-term thing, relationship, situation, so that you can feel the freedom and the expansion that Mars retrograde wants you to feel. Okay, Sag. Sag, let's see. Your card is Limitless Possibility. What a perfect card for a 9th house Mars transit. Wow. The stars in the sky, beautiful Sag. I am loving this so much. This person's in meditation. Either that or this is a call to connect with your spiritual guidance. This is a call to get in, to merge with your higher self, to merge with your future self, perhaps. You may feel like you're on a bridge. You may feel like you're on your way into a new consciousness. You may feel like you are raising your vibration. You see all the purple here. Someone corrected me in my last video. They said purple isn't the crown chakra. Well, purple violet is very much associated with the crown chakra. It can also be white light, also connected to the crown chakra. And that's what I see in this card. I see a call to you. And this violet, purple violet energy, crown chakra, is your connection to your belief systems, which is the 9th house. So beautiful Sag, what this card is saying is that the sky is the limit. There is no limit. You have limitless possibility. Just look up at the stars. See yourself on a star. See yourself connecting with the ethers. Feel yourself there. Open up to your expanded energy, because there is a message there for you. There's an energy there for you. There is a new portal there for some of you that when you pass through it, you are going to feel more free than you've ever felt before. And if you want to claim your limitless possibility, beautiful Sag, claim it in the comments below. I would love to hear. Scorpio. Hello, beautiful Scorpio. Scorpio, you are experiencing this Mars retrograde in your 10th house of career, legacy. This is retirement for some of you. It's semi-retirement for others of you. It is your life purpose expressed, how you want to spend your time, your passion, what is inspiring you. Scorpio, many of you are going to be reassessing or are now reassessing your passion and inspiration around career, around how you spend your time. You are getting a square from this Mars retrograde in Leo, and squares are motivation. They are pressure sometimes. They are a call to really assess what's working and what isn't working in this area of your life. With a square, you really want to be aware of your physical energy, and if you feel more irritable, constructive ways of expressing or processing your anger or your frustration, I'm not saying that all of you are going to go through a difficult transit, but I will say that this transit really does want you to assess your why. Why are you doing what you're doing? What else might light you up if you want to do something different? Are there different strategies you can use? Are there different ways of approaching what you do if you don't want to leave what you do? Are you ready to start your own business? Are you ready to retire? Are you ready to answer the call of your soul in some area of your life? Do you know what is calling to you? This is a transit where you could feel that your self-esteem is temporarily shifting or slipping only because we tend to feel less appreciated, less recognized, less, we tend to get less feedback, positive feedback during a Mars retrograde. And because it's in your 10th house of career, you could feel like coworkers or, quote unquote superiors, bosses, and so on, aren't recognizing you, aren't giving you what you deserve to receive in return for the work that you are putting out. Or you could feel like the something about your career isn't lighting you up anymore, Scorpio. That's possible too. Or some of you are just trying to figure out, what do I want to do next? Maybe you recently graduated from some sort of program, and you're looking for a job. You could be job hunting right now too. So beautiful Scorpio. Let me pull a card for you and see what the cards have to say. I'm also getting a sense that some of you could be dealing with a relationship with your father. You could have memories of your father. If your father's passed on come up, you could have be having conversations with your father. You could be noticing how your self-esteem around your career, your legacy, your work, how you spend your time is somehow connected to a father, and therefore it would be a great idea for you to do any sort of healing, forgiveness work, releasing work around anything negative associated with your father. Claiming your own inner enthusiastic father, or reconnecting with the father of, your divine father. Scorpio. Scorpio. Your card is overflow, overwhelm, and plenty. So this card, first of all, the number is 43, which reduces to a 7, which is connecting to the divine. It's your spiritual source. There is a lot of water here. There's a heart healing here. Some of you are healing a relationship with someone in your life, or in a past life, or in a former chapter of your life. Overflow, sometimes we can be overwhelmed by the fact that we have everything that we need, that all of our needs are met. It can be a moment of like, is the other shoe going to drop? Is this going to shift? You could be actually receiving a lot of business if you're self-employed. You could be receiving a lot of demands on your time, and it could just feel like too much. And if that's true, this transit may be about boundaries for you, maybe about taking time out, even though you're getting a lot of overflow, even though you're getting a lot of good stuff, even though it could be feeling quite abundant for you. There's something here about emotionally taking care of the part of you that could be feeling somewhat overwhelmed. But at the same time, this card is acknowledging that if you are feeling a positive sense of overflow, abundance, wealth, and so on, claim it. Claim it as that you deserve it. That you deserve it, Scorpio. That it's not fleeting. It's not something that's going to come and leave and put you back in a place of lack. It's coming because you've created this for yourself. So if this resonates, this plenty, that you are in a place of plenty, that you want to claim that you are in a place of overflow and plenty, leave me a comment. I would love to hear, beautiful Scorpio. And if you need to set some sort of boundary, take some time out, carve time out for your schedule for yourself, please do it, because this is a time when you have full permission to be quote unquote lazy, to give yourself the time, the focus to fill up your well, to refill your well, if that resonates for you, beautiful Scorpio. Libra. Hello, beautiful Libra. Libra, you are experiencing the Mars retrograde in Leo in your 11th house of hopes, wishes, and dreams, long-term financial gains, friendships, alliances, support groups, community, tribe. What does this mean for you? When Mars retrogrades, as I speak about at length in the first part of this video, there's often a sense of slowdown, reversal, not getting what we need, a time that we are meant to pull in and give ourselves the love, the affection, the praise, and so forth that we need to basically to fill up our cup. Doesn't mean that this is necessarily what's going to be happening for you, beautiful Libra. You could have felt you had a lot of momentum when Mars first went into Leo in early November or even October. Could have felt a lot more momentum, and then now you could feel that something is shifting in these areas of your life. The message is that the slowdown, if you're experiencing that, is a gift. It's a time for you to reassess your goals. You may have changes in friendships, you may have changes in alliances, you may decide that a cause or, for example, if you have some sort of fellowship with others, whether it's a friend group or some sort of meetup that you go to or a church even, you may feel that that's shifting for you, that you just don't have the desire, the motivation, the inspiration to continue that. It could be coming from you just as much as it's coming from another person. You could just feel like you need more space to reflect on a current dream or a vision. You may be opening up to world travel because the 11th house is like our dream. It is the world is your oyster. You could be opening up to something new that you want to do. And you just need time to assess, reflect, decide what you want to do. That's why we say Mars retrograde isn't the best time to make major life decisions, because we're often in a state of flux and new opportunities, information, and so forth could still be coming in. You're getting a beautiful trine from this energy, the wind at your back, ease and flow, something falling into your lap. And so because of this, it may not be Libra until we get through this Mars retrograde in Leo time, or even until we get to mid-April, early May, when the shadow period closes out for these Leo degrees. It may not be until then that whatever you desire actually begins to happen for you or unfold for you. But I would say it's okay if you want to just sort of be in attraction mode, be in the vortex, and let it come in to you. Let it come to you, because I believe that it will, whatever it is for you, but you may just need to be patient for a little while until then. So Libra, let us see what the cards have to say for you. Let's see. Libra. Your card is, Eye of the Needle, intentionality. Yes, what I was just saying about being in the vortex, where intention goes, energy flows. Where our energy goes, the fruits of our intention flow. So look at the abundance in this card. What a cool card. Do you see the eye? Wow, this is so futuristic. The needle, all the fire of Leo energy. It's like, just be very focused on what it is that you want. Set a clear intention. Let it come to you. Do you see the power and force of this vortex that is created by this intention? Nothing could keep this from magnetizing what it is that you desire. Beautiful Libra. So be intentional, and you shall receive. If you want to claim that you are receiving what you most desire, let us know in the comments below, Libra. I would love to hear. Virgo, hello, beautiful Virgo. Virgo, the Mars retrograde in Leo is happening for you in your 12th house of rest and retreat, your mystical self, your divine connection, the subconscious mind. Beautiful Virgo, this is a place of a Mars retrograde where there's some inner excavation happening for you. Do you feel this? Let me know in the comments if you feel this. You could be having intense dreams. You could be drawn to self-discovery practices. You could be really wanting to go deep through journaling or automatic writing. This is a beautiful time for guided meditations. I have several of those for you in a playlist. That's always linked in my description box below. You can also download a guided visualization from my website when you sign up for free for my weekly inspirational astrology updates. This could be a life-changing transit for you, Virgo. This is like where you can have those dreams like angel visitation dreams, lucid dreaming, insights that come either in your waking state or your sleep state or through conversations. You are Mercury ruled after all, that bring deep healing. I think that this transit is going to bring you a deep healing if this is what you want, beautiful Virgo. Some of you will reprogram your subconscious mind. Some of you will open up to a mystery. Some of you will have a spiritual awakening during this transit. And I do want to acknowledge that Mars transiting your 12th house, even if it wasn't in retrograde, could be a hard transit. I recently had over the summer, Mars was transiting in my 12th house in Gemini. And that was, I had some dreams that were like really unsettling, I have to say. But that will pass. That will pass. A good time to write down your dreams. Really good time to share with another your dreams if you want to do that, to do some dream work, to just really deepen your relationship with your own soul, with your own divine source. And my book, Virgo, The Magic of Saying Yes, is about deepening your partnership with your own soul, if that calls to you. When this transit is over, when Mars moves into your first house, it's going to take a little bit because it needs to retrograde back into Cancer first. But when it clears the shadow period and it moves into your first house, beautiful Virgo, that is going to be a brand new lease on life for you. That's going to be your, I'm coming out. I want the world to know. I got to let it show. I love that song. So I just gave myself permission to sing all those first few words. Thank you, Virgo. When that happens for you, you are going to feel like a whole new person. And I think you're going to be more assertive and you're going to have your own back that much more when we get to that transit of Mars in your first house. So you have that to look forward to, beautiful Virgo. Any inner work that you do will be well worth it. So let me now pull a card for you and see what the cards have to say. Virgo. Your card is Winter's Dream Gestation Period. Yes, yes, yes. The 12th house is the gestational house. Wow. You are going through a period of gestating your dream. You could feel like you are in a period of winter, regardless of whether you live in the southern or northern hemisphere. You could feel like there's an inner winter happening inside of you. Honor that, Virgo. Honor it. Because the pink and the purple in this card is very soft. It's very nurturing. I love the shell, the spiral in the shell. It's a reminder that life is a spiral path. There is a lot of, if you work with crystals or you work with anything, I'm getting a sense of like anything that you can do, whether it's essential oils, crystals, meditation, anything that you can use as an aid. Really pamper yourself to the extent that you can. Pamper yourself with nurturing during this time. It will really pay off for you, beautiful Virgo. You deserve it. Many of you need that right now. Many of you need the scents, the incense, the massage, the Reiki, the acupuncture, whatever it is that you need to make yourself feel more nurtured. Do it. It will really be good for you. Beautiful Virgo, if you want to claim your beautiful winter's dream, allow yourself to be in the dream of the 12th house. It is also the house of fantasy and daydreaming. Let yourself receive the dream from the divine that is meant for you, and you will bring that forward that much more as we move into Mars in direct motion. Beautiful Virgo, let us know in the comments below. I would love to hear. My beautiful friend, thank you so much for joining me for this Mars retrograde in Leo video. As I said, I will do a separate video for you on the Mars retrograde in Cancer, but I had a lot to share with you about it, so we need 2 videos for these transits. Thank you for your likes of this video. Thank you for giving it a thumbs up. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your shares. Thank you for your subscribes. All of these are ways that you can give back to this channel for free and it means more than you know. It sends a message to the algorithm to suggest this video to other people who love astrology, and this is how I'm able to do these videos for you. If you would like a private astrology consultation, I have just made available my 2025 year ahead readings. These are 90-minute readings where I share with you how all of the major changes, the outer planets changing signs, are going to impact you, how you can empower yourself through these transits in 2025, plus any other significant astrology for you in this year ahead. We can also do a natal chart reading, a relationship harmony reading, heart's desire, and more. Just go to my website, check out my offerings, and it will be my absolute joy to meet you on Zoom. I also offer coaching, so the link to both my astrology and my coaching pages to check out my coaching offerings are in the description box below. As promised, I have a free gift for you, and that free gift is a soothing guided meditation, reconnecting you to your spirit, to your heart, to your unconditionally loving spiritual guidance. To receive that, just go to my website, sign up for my free weekly inspirational updates, and you will get that free gift right away. Thank you to those of you in the Sunday chat who have joined us. I so appreciate you. And I will be back next week with a video for you on the Capricorn new moon, which is also just like this Mars retrograde in Leo, preparing us to step into 2025 with power, ease, and grace. So, my beautiful friend, I look forward to seeing you back here next week. Be sure and subscribe, tap the notification bell so you get a reminder. And until then, I am sending you all my love.